Hi, guys. Welcome, welcome. Happy Tuesday to you all. And I hope you've had a good week so far. So, we're talking about siblings because so often people, honestly, they're not even sure they want a baby. Yet, enough after they've had one, do they want another one? And they get a lot of social pressure. There might be grandparents saying, oh, have more, have more, have more. And they're like, well, I don't know. The first one was so hard. Should I have another one? How hard is that? And honestly, it is another challenge. It's another twist. A lot of times after we have a sibling, we're thinking, oh, well, you know what? Gosh, I should have been more grateful having just one child because now with two, it's a little more challenging. But there are some really great benefits to having a sibling for your child, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So, before we get started, let me tell you who I am. I'm Celia Kibler, family empowerment coach and author of Raising Happy Toddlers, How to Build Great Parenting Skills and Stop Yelling at Your Kids, as well as 3 children's books. I am grateful, sorry, all about me and being different is fun. And those books are available right here at Celia's Books, where I have to go in front of my mic. Celia'sBooks.com, right there. So, I'm also the mommy of 5 kids. 2 I gave birth to, 3 I gained through marriage, and I'm the grandma to 9 children. I've been successfully parenting a blended family for over 26 years, and I've been a real life parent for over 40 years. So what I do for you is I help parents break the generational cycles of dysfunction and abuse and create childhoods that everyone can blossom from. I am on a mission to stop a million parents from yelling at their kids, and I'm glad you're here to join me so that we can really help create the family that you have always dreamt of having. Let's talk about siblings and what are the benefits and something to consider if you're not sure, you're on the edge of should I have more kids or should I not have more kids? And if you know anyone that's also dealing with this question, by all means, share this out. Okay, if you're on with me live, say hello so I can say hello. Notice that up above us, it's going to tell you, to go to StreamYard and give them your name so I see you or say your name. Hi, CL. How are you? CL has many siblings in his family. He has many children. So, and I'm sure there's been struggles, but I know he's grateful for all of them now. So growing up, there's different issues, and as they grow, as they get older, we're always happy for more kids. Hi, Nick. How are you? All right. So let's talk about what are the benefits, because there are many. You're so welcome, Nick. Thanks for joining me. One thing is you have a built-in buddy. So many parents with just one child, they feel like they have to entertain their child. And honestly, guys, whether you have one child, you have 3 children, you have 6 children, it is not your job to entertain your children 24/7. Not your job. And honestly, a little alone time, a little ability for them to learn to play independently and entertain themselves is golden. And you think of yourself, where's all that creativity if not for the times that we're on our own? We're driving, we're in the shower, we think of all these great ideas. Alone time is creative time. So don't feel like you have to entertain your kids all the time. However, when you add a sibling into the mix, the nice thing is now if you got stuff to do, there are 2 to play together. Don't force them together all the time. That will only make them sick of each other, but definitely, allow them their playtime and their share time and to enjoy each other's company. Hi, Chidima. Thank you. I'm glad you're coming in from Florida, beautiful Florida with palm trees. Kind of love Florida. So that's number 1. That leads you to conflict, right? We have siblings. Do I want my kids fighting all the time? There again, it gives your child the opportunity to learn conflict resolution. If you make sure you don't interfere with every little argument or little, disagreement, you give your children opportunities to learn how to resolve their own issues. How do I resolve this conflict without having someone interfere and resolve it for me? Give them a chance. They will learn it, and it will help them through life as other conflicts come their way, which they will. So give them that opportunity to learn. Younger kids, they learn from you. They also learn from older siblings. We definitely are social beings, but yes, agree. So agree. They learn from their older siblings, which is why it's also important to make sure that you have a parenting system in place so that the symptoms that are showing up for your older kids don't keep showing up. You resolve them, because if they're showing up with your older kids and you have no clue how to resolve them, they're going to also show up in your younger kids. If your older child is talking back and you don't know how to resolve that, your younger child will talk back, because they will start mimicking their older sibling. So having another sibling also kind of creates the urgency to resolve the things you're battling with. And honestly, if you don't want to battle for the rest of your life, you need to resolve these things now. They don't have to keep going on year after year. You can learn how to change things. I need this teaching because my first two boys fight like cats and dogs, friends 1 minute, next. And he did that first to me. Yes, there's a lot of that competition and accusing. So there is conflict, and we'll briefly touch on it, but I'm not going to get really far into it. Yeah, monkey see, monkey do. They see you, they see their older siblings, they do it. So if you don't know how to change those things in your older children, get ready for them to show up in your younger children, because they definitely will. They all have different personalities, but if you're letting kids whine, if you're letting them talk back, if you're letting them throw tantrums all the time, and you're letting them get their way, those same problems will show up in your younger children. A really nice advantage to having older siblings, and this is also true for pets, they help children teach compassion. Compassion is one of those traits that we learn. We are not born with, which is why it's difficult for kids to share. Sharing is an act of compassion. But when you have a baby in the house, a pet in the house, younger siblings, older siblings learn compassion, and compassion is learned by the younger ones because it's being done with them. So it's a great way to help your children learn how to be compassionate, how to realize that, the world doesn't center around me. I am part of a bigger picture. Thank you for sharing, Shanima. And I'm sorry I'm saying your name wrong. Shanima. If I'm saying it wrong, I apologize. Such a pretty name. Okay, so sometimes I send them on time out. Wait, let me see. Sometimes I send them on time out, and when they are ready to fix it, they come out and talk about it. Yeah, because you're giving them the opportunity to think about how they can fix things. What happened kind of fell apart. Now I've got some alone time to think about what I can do different. It's a great lesson for everybody. It's a great lesson for even adults. You're anxious, you're upset, you're about to yell. Give yourself a timeout to sit, to think, to evaluate, and to come back with a more productive, responsible response that will actually help the situation and not detract from it and not make it worse. Okay. Another nice thing about I'm reading comments. I got distracted. Another nice thing about having siblings is when your parents are gone, like me and my two sisters and brother. We lost our parents. We lost my dad 2 years ago and my mom 4 years ago. Now we have each other. We still have our immediate family. We're not left alone. So we have each other that and what's wonderful about a sibling is they have lived your life with you. They've known you since you were little teeny kids. Now, some of you may have dear friends like that. My best friend, we have known each other since we were 2. 62 years later, we're still best friends. So going through that right now with a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and I have a baby they like taking care of. Yeah, their other babies. Yep. We love to test your AD. Yes, I know you do. Which is why I really appreciate the comments. I love them. So I don't mind being distracted. You guys don't mind. I don't mind. So I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys getting involved, and I appreciate all the sharing. Really, thank you so much. So they give us extended family when our parents are gone. As we lose people, and reality is none of us are getting out of here alive, we still have our close family that we can fall back on, that we can talk to, that we can work with, that we can remember with, and we can build more memories with. Remember, though, this is important, that just because you have a sibling for your child, there are no guarantees that they're going to love each other. Do not insist that you guys have to love each other. Your siblings. Why do they have to love each other? They may love each other, but they may not like each other. They're different personalities, different people, different individuals. They may start immediately liking each other, and then as they grow, go through a stage when they're not so crazy. And I'm sure are crazy about each other. And I'm sure as adults, people, maybe even you, that does not get together, does not get along with some of their siblings. Thank you. Thank you, Shadima. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. You may know people that don't get along with their siblings now that they're older. It happens all the time. A lot of that, though, has to do with our egos and our hurt. And if we can remove our egos and we can begin to forgive, which is an act of kindness to yourself, not necessarily the other person, you can begin to move on. Think if that person left this earth, would you live in regret that you didn't rebuild a relationship? Or would you not care? Maybe you don't care. I don't know the situation. I'm just making you have things to think about, okay? Things to think about. If you are having difficulty with a family member, is it important to you to rebuild that relationship? And if you're sitting there going, well, I'm not going to do it, they can do it. It's got to start with someone. So will it be you? The act of forgiveness is being compassionate to ourselves, not necessarily to the other person. Okay? All right. So extended family keeps that memories alive, has someone to share with. Here's another great reason you have a sibling, is because not only can you learn things from your siblings, good or bad, but you can also get advice from a sibling. Sometimes we're not always comfortable talking about concerns that we have with a parent. Sometimes we just don't feel comfortable about that. So it's nice to have a peer, a sibling that you can talk to, someone that you think maybe has gone through that recently and can help you. It's good to have someone offer you advice that's not necessarily your parent. That's another big benefit. If you have siblings, have you been able to talk to them about things that you wouldn't necessarily talk to someone else about? Another great benefit of siblings. And look at it this way too. You have homework? Let me tell you a story. When my son came home from fifth grade. The first day of fifth grade, he brought home a homework assignment on pi. And to tell you the truth, pi, I honestly stopped learning math in high school at pi. I knew nothing past that. So here he was, the first day of fifth grade, and that was the end of my learning. I was very grateful that he had a sister, an older sister, who's been through all this, good at math, able to remember because she recently learned what he was learning, and she was able to help him with his homework, even though I wasn't always able to do it in math. So another advantage, if you have somebody else that can mentor your child and help your child and coach your child through the things that you may not be able to do. No one knows more than 3.14, right, Nick? Exactly. Other reasons that siblings are great is, number one, once again, it gives you someone to look up to. Hopefully, they're doing good things. Hopefully, you've created a vision for your family. So everyone in your family has a vision and goals for themselves. They want to live a certain way. They want to reach certain goals. And your child will look to that as something that may also benefit them. It's working for my older brother or sister. It may also work for me. Sometimes you don't want to ask for help outside of your family. Exactly. Excellent point. Exactly. Because sometimes people will judge you and criticize you, and it happens in family too. But sometimes you just want to keep things private, but you need help. And you don't want to offer it to a parent because they may not sympathize with you, may not feel like they'll understand, but a sibling will. Yes, absolutely. Good point made. And siblings, for the most part, usually have your back. You know, you go to school, somebody's bullying you. Who is going to chime in? Probably your sibling, because they're going to defend you. You're their family. So it's nice to have that family that has your back. Is it always that way? Are all these things always true? Absolutely not. But the more you encourage this interchange between your children, the more they will feel comfortable encouraging their own interchange between each other. Really make it positive. Really make it a special time growing up. Are there going to be fights? Yup, there are going to be fights. It's going to be competition? Yes, there will be some amount of competition. Is there going to be some amount of jealousy? Yes. But what you do as a parent to discourage jealousy, to discourage competition, to not spend your time saying, oh, why don't you get good grades like your sister does? Why don't you do this like your brother does? You know, your sister cleaned up her room. How come you're not doing it? The less you make a competitive environment, the less competition your children will feel. You have to be intentional on the way you parent them, the way you inspire them and encourage them, and the way you create calm communication, not threatening communication, not competitive statements like, oh, why aren't you like your brother? You don't put them into situations where they have to parent their brother or sister. They're not the parents, you are. They should only be the sibling. Don't be like, oh, can you make your brother come to dinner? No, that's not their job. And that's going to cause animosity between the two of them. Don't always throw your older child in a situation where they're like, take care of your younger child. You're older, you know better. Not necessarily. Don't be always like, can you take care of your younger child, your younger brother? Please just go take care of them. I've got stuff to do. What's going to happen is they're going to start resenting their younger sibling. If they are always forced to be in charge of them, or they're always forced to take them with them when they go out with their friends, they are going to grow up resenting that sibling. So a lot of this depends on you. A lot of these benefits absolutely exist, but they can be turned around if you are creating a situation where your siblings will feel resentment against each other instead of camaraderie and joy to be with each other's company. Not good to compare your child. Absolutely. It will create jealousy. It will create resentment. It'll create that thing where it's like, oh, well, mom always liked you best. Dad always liked you best. They don't even like me. Don't make statements like, why are you always screwing up? Don't make your child feel like the bad kid. Praise them, encourage them, coach them. Don't do for them. Teach them. But don't make them feel like they're always bad. When your siblings are together and they're playing nice, and maybe you're getting some stuff done, and then all of a sudden they fight, so often we go in there and we yell at them for not getting along. When for 20 minutes, they've been great with each other and you said nothing. Notice all the good they do. Notice the positive and let them know they notice. In a situation like that where they've been good for 20 minutes and then they just start fighting, they're just getting tired of each other. So instead of jumping in on the argument, jump in and say, hey guys, you know what? You've been playing really nice together and I really appreciate it. I got off that call. Why don't we all go do something? Compliment and praise their good time. Don't even worry about that little argument. They're arguing because they're sick of each other and they need a change of direction. So compliment them for playing nice and give them that change of direction. I don't know why we put this parent stuff off. It all just makes so much sense and benefits everyone. One of these days. Yeah. And when you put it off, it just gets worse and worse. Parenting should be your priority. You can always get a new car. You can always go buy a bigger house. But if you get a new car and you buy a bigger house and you don't resolve what's going on in your family, then that bigger house is just more arguing, more discouragement, more overwhelm, more aggravation. You're just doing it in a different location. Resolve this. Resolve the situation where your kids are getting along and cooperating with you. And then you resolve it for years and years to come. It's not like you have to deal with it constantly. You resolve the core problems you're having in your family, because what's showing up, the tantrums, the fights, the negotiations, the talking back, those are all symptoms of core problems that you don't have. You resolve that and you have harmony for years to come. Let's see what 90% of the adults and young boys going out and killing people from family. Yes, because they don't feel good enough. They're being judged. They're being criticized. I just did a master class last Thursday in my Tranquility Tribe on what criticism, judgment, and ridicule does to a child and how you can stop doing it and what they perceive as judgment, criticism, ridicule. When you do that with the child, they feel destroyed. They have no confidence. They have no self-esteem. They have no self-worth. You want to start attending my master classes, watching all the ones in the past, getting coaching, join my Tranquility Tribe. It's open now at a special price, but it's not going to be open forever. So if you want to get in and start being proactive about your family, go to mytranquilitytribe.com. The compound effect is real. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, Nick. Exactly. It is real. No more excuses. No more blaming. Right. I mean, blame, shame. Whose fault is you're the parent? You're the parent. They're the child. You're the one with the fully developed brain. They're the one with the underdeveloped brain. So who needs to be in charge? Who needs to take the reins? You do. They will live by your example, whatever that is. If you are judging them and criticizing them and ridiculing them, guess what they learn to do? They learn to judge, criticize, and ridicule. It's up to you. That's all I can say. It's up to you. Okay, you guys. So I appreciate you being there. I appreciate all the interaction and the comments, and I appreciate you sharing this out. We've got to start taking control over our family and making our children the priority. That's how you end these shootings. That's how you end violence. That's how you end having a generation of adults that feel like garbage, that feel like they're worth nothing. You be intentional and you start creating a generation that doesn't have to recover from their childhood and in fact can blossom from their childhood. Can you imagine? Can you imagine a whole generation of adults that are blossoming from their childhood? That's how you change the world. That is how you change the world. It's up to us parents. It's up to the intentional behavior that we are doing with our kids. It's up to us learning what we need to know. You don't know what you don't know. And a lot of times we parent from our past. You want to change things. You want to help your kids survive in society and be productive, confident adults. Starts with you. We are the creators. We are, absolutely. Children see and do what the adult parents do. It's good to pay attention to how we treat each other at home. Yes, absolutely. And your relationship with your significant other is teaching your children what a relationship looks like. If you're always fighting, calling names, accusing, that's the relationship they will have with their siblings, their friends, their future love interests. That's the relationship they will view as normal because that's what they're living with. Got to think about a lot of things. Got to think about a lot of things. And if you need help, reach out. That's what I'm here for. Okay? So, if you have a question, you want to talk, go to talkwithcelia.com, which is not here on my thing, talkwithcelia.com. If you want to get involved with the Tranquility Tribe while it's accepting new members, go to mytranquilitytribe.com. Okay? Things are happening fast. There'll be an app. There'll be all kinds of cool things for you guys. Yes, relax and unlearn. They're always watching and listening. Yep. Let's start reprogramming. Yeah, and it's never too late. Reminds me, it's never too late. It's only too late if you're dead. So while you're alive, it's never too late. I don't care if your child is 50 years old. It's never too late to rebuild the relationship. All right, guys, I got to get going. I thank you for taking a half hour out of your busy day and spending it here with me. I'm extremely grateful. Take some of these tips and put them into action tonight. That's what I'm all about. I'm all about giving you advice that you can use to help make your family more harmonious, happier, and really create that real respect and trust that you all deserve in your home. Okay, guys, I'm here at 10 a.m. every Tuesday morning, Eastern Time. Take my advice, take it to action. Do one of these things, at least one today. Start changing your family. I wish you days filled with peace, love, tons of laughter. It really is the best medicine. I'll see you here next time in Pumped Up Parenting and around the web. Bye-bye, everyone.